Welcome back, YouTube. So the other day I was at the thrift store and I saw something that caught my eye and I figured let's give it a shot. You know, stuff like this I used to do when I was in high school, as awful it is to say, and I actually got pretty good with these things. It wasn't necessarily Mr. Beer that I was using. The brand I was using was called the Beer Machine, and it was actually really, really impressive. And I'm actually kind of interested to see what the Beer Machine's making right now. So if I like the way this works, we might move on to that. Or try other flavors of Mr. Beer, because honestly this is really cool. They do root beer and I think they actually do wine, if I'm not mistaken. But this is super easy. Like, all I have to do is put a gallon of water in a pot, and what we're going to do is take our can of our base here and sit it in some hot water upside down, and after like 5 minutes we're going to add it to here, give it a good mix, add it to this, done deal. So let's get started. But I got this for $5 at a thrift store, and even new it's cheap. These things are awesome. You know, it comes with bottles, it comes with a whole set. This little keg is really nice. The whole thing's nicely made. For as cheap as it is, this thing's really cool. Like I said earlier in the video, I used to think I was pretty damn cool, pretty damn slick in high school, making my own beer and using these, and people would be like, why are you doing that? But you know, me being younger, I always would try to do different things. I remember we took our beer machine and added cinnamon to it, and it ended up ruining our beer machine, unfortunately, because I added way too much. I didn't know what I was doing. But you gotta take risks to know if it works or not. The beer ended up tasting, as strange as it sounds, like blueberry pancakes. Still to this day, I don't understand why that flavor profile was there. But the beer wasn't bad. It just, every time I made beer after that, I couldn't get that cinnamon flavor out of the beer machine. And believe I probably used like a tablespoon or two. So I was a 18-year-old, so who knew? So let's get started here. So first what we'll do is crank on our water. Now while that's going, I'm gonna get some hot water in this bowl here and sit our can in there. So I'll see you in a second. Now that we have our hot water, I'm just gonna take my yeast packet out of the top, set this aside. We'll pop our can in, like this side in the water. So I'll let that sit for a couple minutes and see you in a second. So while this can's kind of loosening up and this water boils, I'm going to set up the keg, and then after I add a gallon of water, I'm going to add half of our rinse pack. So with this, you're basically going to stick this side into one end and go inside, meet the other side. Alright, so that's on. So let's add some water. Alright, now let's add half of our no rinse cleanser to our keg. Alright, so now what we're going to do is give it a good shake and cover every little bit so it's all sanitized. The reason you do this is so if anything is in there that shouldn't be in there, it's going to obviously kill the bacteria and not kill the flavor of your beer. So, because it will change the flavor. This is probably one of the most important steps of this whole process. So now, take a little bit, pour it in a bowl, or plate, or whatever you're going to use, and whatever utensils that you're going to be using in this process, give it a little rinse in the solution. So we'll just take our spatula, boom, boom, fully sanitize, take our whisk, give it a nice run through. Alright, it looks like our water is really close to boiling, so let's get moving here. But the hard part is basically done, and to be honest, I haven't done this in about 13, 14 years. And the craziest thing is, it's the exact same way it was back then. But I'd like to see if we could put a little spin on Mr. Beer and do our thing to it. So let's get good at doing this, and maybe we can have a little fun and add a little goodies to it. So, all right, our water's starting to boil now. So what I'm gonna do is flip over and pop open our can. Make sure you get the lid off, because you really want to get everything out of there. Now that we're boiling, I'm just going to turn it off and add our base. Don't be lazy, get everything out of there. It's really how you get the maximum flavor of your beer and all that stuff. So the one I'm using, the flavor I'm using today is the Classic American Light. And I smell a lot of molasses. It actually smells pretty darn good. So we'll just give it a good mix. Try not to lose any of it. You mix at 2 o'clock, you should be fine. Everything should stay in the pot. So I'll just take my whisk, and because it's a very heavy base, so probably some's going to be laying around the side. So just give it a good go around. Make sure you got every little thing incorporated. I know I said whisk, but I meant spatula. The hard part is done. Or I don't know, the hard part could be waiting. But let's add our hot base to this carefully. And I do see a little bit at the bottom still. So what I'm going to do is take the rest of my sanitized liquid and just kind of give it a little deglazing with the spatula and get it all out. Boom, we did it. So now all we got to do is add our yeast, and we got to wait. So now we'll add our whole packet of yeast. Make sure we get it all in there. And believe it or not, guys, that's it. Boom. We just made beer. It was that easy. So now that our beer is fermenting, or wort, whatever you want to call it, it came with these cool bottles. So let's take the step of actually putting the stickers on the bottles, because I know back in the day I would leave them and say I'll do it when I bottle them, and I would never do it. So let's do it. These little beers are something you can really take pride in, because you made it yourself. I'll tell you what, guys, I had a lot of fun making this. This was pretty cool. This actually took me back to my younger days when I thought I could get away with everything. So thanks for watching. Check me back in a week, and I'll keep you updated on what it's looking like, the process. And in 2 weeks, we'll actually look at it and bottle it and see what I think. And while you're getting your drink on, don't forget to check me out on Instagram at the NJ Chef. New recipes every single week, guys. So thanks for watching. And another short note before you guys go: if you guys have used Mr. Beer, if you guys are pros using this thing, give me some tips, give me some ideas and things I could try, things I could do. And hit the damn like button. Please, do me that favor, guys. It's the biggest favor you could do. And subscribe. Don't forget. Alright, drink your face off. I'll see you.